Namaste. Oh God. Yes, I'm not very much used to all this technology. In fact, as I grow older, I become more and more worried about what technology is doing to us. But I think you know already rather a lot about me, having had a rather long introduction. And one thing I would like to ask of all of you, yes, it's all right, I'm not going to fall down. No, please, don't fuss, for God's sake. Really, Mr. Swami, no, please, don't. I'm not going to fall down. I'll do this too, if you want. Right, I want to know, because you've had a lot of merriment, but I actually frankly think that this question and the way our last speaker spoke, it is rather serious, and not rather serious, it's very serious. It's very worrying what's going on, and not only in India, all over the world, what's going on in education. And I would like to know how many of you in this room have had some exposure, some knowledge, I don't mean just superficial, some knowledge of what Krishnamurti has said about education. Could you raise your hands? Yes, not very many people. So that's good for me to know. Because as was stated when I was at university, when I joined university late at the age of 21. Because I lived in Kenya for 2 years and enjoyed the sort of African way of living. I was a teacher there. And then I joined Sussex University, and one of my fellow students gave me a book, Commentaries on Living by J. Krishnamurti. And it changed my whole perception. And then from there on, I joined the Krishnamurti School. After finishing my degree, I joined the Krishnamurti School in UK, Brockwood Park, and I was there for 14 years. And I spent a lot of time with Krishnamurti personally. I had a few one-to-one interactions with him. Mostly it would be, say, sitting at the lunch table. And we had many discussions, many talks. I would go to Switzerland and he would speak in Switzerland. He was a remarkable human being. Personally, I think I have to tell you, he definitely encouraged us to be very skeptical. None of this guru worship and all that. But as I came to know over many years, he was an extraordinary human being. So I think we'll move on from that and go into the PowerPoint presentation, because I have attended quite a few talks where the PowerPoint presentations are terrible, because whatever's on the screen is repeated by the speaker. I hope we've moved on from that. But I'd just like you to know from where I'm coming, because here you are in Delhi, you're this Lutyens Delhi. There are connections, incidentally, between Sir Edwin Lutyens. He married Lady Edwin Lutyens, who acted as a mother for Krishnamurti. That's the story of the Theosophist and all that. So that's not very important. I mean, Krishnamurti was not talking about something very simple. It's quite a serious. Even today I pick up parents send me Krishnamurti books to read. And then I look at them and then I find I'm still enlivened by what he says, or made sober by what he has to say. Bridge we're building, the bottom there, we were building, mostly my staff, but some of the students. These are all old photographs. The old car I used for teaching engineering, it's the 1934 Baby Austin. It's the simplest car ever built. And so we take it apart and we repair it, and the children and I'm the first learn how to become a good mechanic. I'm a mediocre mechanic. So it's a sort of hobby as also for me, because many of you are principals and running schools, you spend most of your time either writing, reading, talking to people. So I'm like that too, and then I like to have a break and do something with my hands. So that's what I've been doing for many years, 7 years or more. And this car is almost on the road again. I broke down about 6 months ago, and now I had to rebuild the engine. So, and I do this with the students also. It's a really beautiful valley, very fortunate. When I arrived in that valley in 1989, the land was very cheap. You may well presume this chap Jenkins is a wealthy person. As a matter of fact, not so. I was fortunate enough, my grandmother left me a small inheritance, and with that money, the land at that time was 7,000 to 29,000 rupees an acre. But now the price has gone up like anything, which is always a worry because we have land grabbers and all that kind of problem. But anyway, for the moment now, the school is okay. So now I thought to myself that because of thinking who is here, the engineering side, the infrastructure side of our school might well interest you. I'm actually from a family of engineers, although I studied social anthropology, but I have a kind of engineering bent, and I had, from a young age, an interest in what is known as appropriate technology, a technology which doesn't harm the environment, and it is good with human beings. It is not dominating. It doesn't take over our lives. So we have altogether around now nearly 100 solar panels. We got them cheap because there were government schemes that supported that. And very recently the price of solar panels has come down very much, and we don't have any power cuts. We don't have any dim outs because we have solar electricity all the time. Biogas, generally discredited, but it is fundamentally an Indian technology. Yes, in China they worked on it, but the Indians have done a lot of work on biogas, and we have 5 biogas plants. I'm just installing some more, and it's a wonderful, wonderful technology. It provides heat. Solar electricity, any type of appropriate technology, electricity requires a lot of power is needed for heating. So the biogas fills in that area. So we use it in the kitchen. We can run engines on biogas, and we run the science lab on biogas and so forth. Oh, that didn't work, huh? Right. So we have this machine. We grow coffee. It's a coffee plantation. So we grow coffee, and we have, this is an invention to create hot water for the bath from biogas. And this is called a vapor absorption fridge, and it was running for some while, but it was the mechanics of it was second hand, and they finally gave up. Actually, we can still repair it. And we have another solar fridge too, a fridge which runs on solar, and we have one more fridge which currently runs on LPG, but we'll also run that on biogas. We have, for the boys' hostel, for the girls' hostel, we have altogether around 500, 600 liters of solar hot water heaters. And since we're living in the hills, we have quite a lot of cloud. There are times when when the batteries are going down, we need more electricity, so that's when we run this micro hydroelectric plant. Now this is supposed to do a little drama, but it's not doing it. Yeah, we have a wind generator, ran for 16 years, but we're in a valley, so we don't get much electricity from that. Yeah, I don't know. Will you play it? Yes. It's really an entertainment. Maybe now it'll work. Yeah. Right. Okay, that's that. So, because I think I would just like to show you these quickly, and then we'll move on to the more serious issue of education. So now, yes, well, that's all clear, I think. Harvesting water. And this is something we got from Oroville, making our own bricks from the soil, and with that machine. And then this is a very nice thing. It's taken the Indian government some 50 years, and they failed. But this is coming actually, I think it comes from Africa. It's the rocket stove concept. You can see the difference, the traditional stoves that smoke and the rocket stove on the right. We have various types of rocket stove, and they're more efficient in firewood, and they're smokeless. Yes, this is a project. We run this engine on biogas. It was more of an experimental project. The engine at the back, we also run on biogas for running our agricultural machinery. Organic farming, we're a certified organic farm, and we experiment with various approaches, permaculture, using the old Indian ideas of organic farming, that is panchakavya being one. Biodynamic agriculture, that's another type of organic agriculture which derives from Rudolf Steiner. Students working on the farm. We have a vermicompost is a 24/7. You know that modern phrase, the worms are working 24/7. And I was skeptical for some time, but I'm delighted. They do a lot of good work creating very good compost for us. And that's a picture of our coffee plantation. This is the recycling. We have 16 categories for our 16 categories where we recycle. Right, well, here we can move more into the issue of education. I think I'll just leave it to you to read up on what it has to say. I hope you can all see. Those who are exploring the questions of education, who are already realizing the mugging up is not the right approach. And for that reason, we right from the we were with National Open School. The school began, Sholai School began only for local children who were really poor, along with my two children. And then in 1999, we started taking children from, our first boy came from Ladakh. Our second boy came from the Gulf. He was the son of a billionaire banker. When his mother came and visited the school and found out it wasn't posh, after a year she took him out, which is rather sad because he was into ganja and all that, and thanks to being in Sholai School, he gave up all that. I said, your mother's coming, so he put on a nice shirt and trousers and all that. And then she was disappointed, so we didn't see any more of him. But slowly we've developed it as a small school. We have around 60 students. I never want more than 65. Because we're not running a school for money. We're running a school because we want to educate young people. The root word, edukto, to draw out the very best from young people. So that's what the crux of what we're about. Oh, that was two at once, right. I was talking about the engine. That is one of my very bright students on the left. She's grinding in the valves. So how many people know anything about mechanical engineering? All right, so there she is. She's grinding in the valves, and she did a good job. And then this is for the organic farm, for the students to keep their tools. We have a class, we call it engineering. It includes woodwork. And then it also includes masonry work. This is another class, food and nutrition. Cambridge have a food nutrition exam, IGCSE, that is 10th standard, and they have an A-level food studies. I think essential for India, because although it's really that our Indian diet needs tweaking. It's not terribly bad, but we have this polished rice that so many people eat, and of course they don't really have, as you probably know, I believe something like 50% of Indian ladies in India are anemic. So there's some tweaking needed to improve diet, and our young people should be aware of all this. This was Midsummer Night's Dream. Recently, well, we were given 10 years, took us 10 years to build an auditorium, partly because my builders, I've had the builders with me for 20 years, more than 20 years, and they were always busy with something else. So we've almost completed the auditorium, and even when the auditorium wasn't fully completed, we put on plays, Bernard Shaw, because Bernard Shaw was a man who cared for poor people, and Shakespeare, Midsummer Night's Dream. One of my teachers was from America, and he chose this, and so that's Midsummer Night's Dream. Spick McKay, I don't know how many people have heard of Spick McKay? Yes. They do wonderful work spreading classical music and dance all over India. And that's the last slide. That's my two children. They're now 26 and 24, and they're working with me in the school. And that's Chelia, when he was younger, one of my carpenters. That's a tree house, as you can see. And that's our bridge, which goes across the river and through the trees. The trees support the bridge. Not all the support is from the trees. Some of the support is from pillars, stone pillars. So, that's, I think now is the time I would like to hear from you, because I would really like to, I have a feeling that there's a big gulf here, that among the speakers, for example, like Ali Baba, or Baba Ali, yeah, and so on, and Sandeep Desai and so on. We're all rather dedicated to either rural areas or poor children, and my suspicion is that many of you are not. So I don't want it to be just a sort of a talent show or amusement for you. I think that, you see, I've shown you all that stuff about appropriate technology because I do feel that, and I know that the Center for Science and Environment, who brought for you to Delhi, I don't know if you know it, it was they who established the CNG gas in our autos and buses and all that in Delhi. So they have given us this award, Model Green School, and they have a program, something to do with schools being concerned with the environment. And they've been doing this for a number of years. But we really are very much more radical because we have no connection to the electricity grid. And from the very beginning when I first came to India, I realized that there's absolutely no need to have a connection to the electricity grid. You can run an educational community, and especially nowadays, and especially for you people living in the plains. In the hills we have less sun, you people have more sun. And we have lots of sun in India, and we can run a lot of our equipment on solar. And then we've got wind in some areas where there's sufficient wind, and biogas. These are very effective ways whereby you don't have to depend on the government for the government electricity. It is, I think it's something positive to be able to stand independent of the government also, in as far as you can.